Hi, I'm Mark Bünger, Research Director here at Lux Research, and I have with me here today Nihar Patel, who's the Vice President of Business Strategy for Toyota North America. And we were talking earlier, I've been in the auto industry for a while, and you obviously have too. It's one of these few categories where people can get really, really passionate about the end product. So was that part of your attraction to the industry, or what kind of got you in?
Yeah, I think that was really the key word because I had several offers when I came out of grad school, and one of them was an automotive-related offer. And when you grow up in a big city, you don't really have an access to a car. You always look at, say, gee, I'd love to have a car. I'd love to own a product like that. And then you go through the whole dialogue of what it takes to make a vehicle, what it takes to market a vehicle, and that thought process sort of enters your mind because you're a little bit more mature at that point in time. And it was a no-brainer at that point in time to start in the automotive business, understand how vehicles are not just made but also distributed, and how customers make decisions. And that's really been a journey that started over 20 years ago.
So if you think about the role of technology, and by that I mean information technology, which is obviously a big part of vehicles today, but also powertrains and safety and even just comfort things, where do you see that, what role has that played basically in the launch of Lexus and then Scion? And how do you see that going forward today for all three of the brands?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you go back to the company's credo, I think it's all very technology based. You could really involve technology in everything the company does. It's about doing everything for the environment. So you want to take everything bad out, fundamentally. You want to do everything that improves driver distractions. You want to be highly safe, and therefore you want to lead to perhaps zero fatalities in the future. Those are the couple of pillars that drive the company and everything it does. So any technology that allows you to take emissions out or add back positive things, any technology that allows you to deflect negative things that a customer goes through when he or she is driving, that's all critical to us. And I think more recently now, the whole energy around big data, I think that's very critical as well. And the company has a dearth of data from products, whether even before the issues that took place here in the U.S., that allowed the company to better understand how do our customers drive, how do they react, how do they respond. We build that back into the product, but also it allows us to better engage and understand how do we take some of that and put it into a distribution model. So for example, Scion, we wanted to make that into a different way to go to market. So we really try to tease out and experiment with the particular brand and say, should we make this into a much more of a desirable product that customers want to engage with in terms of building it in their own manner, as opposed to a Toyota or a Lexus where different levels of product configurations are available, but in the Scion, it comes one way, but you add on to it. And that allowed us to look at, understand, what are customers doing, how do they do it, what particular accessories are much more engaging, less engaging, and again, we can do a better job of product development and also service development as a result of that. So I think anything with, environment, safety, and then transitioning that into the showroom floor where we can use that to make the experience of owning a vehicle much more positive, I think the company's really involved in from an IT standpoint.
Yeah, well, I want to come back to the consumer and driver technologies because those are, I think, they're the things that we, personally, I think, can all get excited about. So the like the RAV4, the EV, that's a really interesting platform, you could say, and I know Toyota, I think, has always done a good job. Like the Prius is another example of experimenting with one car, putting a lot of technology into it, learning from that, and then moving that forward. So, what lessons have you guys drawn from the public launch of that line and the manufacturing? How has that been able to support?
Sure. Great question. I mean, I think the battery-based technology experience goes back 20 years, for the company, and really focusing on doing it right with the Prius. And concurrently at the same time, and I'll come back to your question in a different way, research on hydrogen started taking place. Because I think as a company, you look out and you use the word scout in the conference here, you go out and start to see, okay, where's the next phase going to be? So you start with batteries and you say, but our company credo is make it cleaner, make it greener, make it cleaner, make it greener. So you say, well, natural gas is big or is going to get big, and off of their other elements that are substantially available in the environment today, hydrogen could be done in an affordable manner over time. So you perfect the element of building batteries, and I would say we're probably one of the biggest battery consumer and provider to consumers in the world from an automotive standpoint. Then you say, okay, well, that's a battery that still depends on some normal petrol. How do you convert and go out and do a battery electric vehicle? Well, in the end, you've got to make some bets, you've got to make some investments, and I think from a company standpoint, providing the hybrid technology and providing the fuel cell migration was a higher priority. The battery electric, which we actually do, came through a partnered approach. Now, there are some good lessons and bad lessons as a result of that, and I think as we now migrate sometime in 2015 to put our fuel cell launch in the US market, we're going through all the lessons learned from the LFA at the Lexus to Prius plugins to RAV EVs and understand what did we do right, but importantly be very honest, what didn't go well, internal to the company, and then what's it going to take to overcome that when we take this particular technology to market.
Yeah. So the hydrogen is one of those technologies that's kind of like, for a lot of people, like cold fusion or robotic vehicles, or it always seems like it's 20 years out, but you're talking about 2015, which is, that's right now, essentially in automotive terms. So yeah, can you tell us, any previews or any lessons learned so far, things that you expect to come out of that launch?
Yeah. No, I think again, going back to the word passion, what we've learned is you need to put together a co-located, passionate group of people who see the ultimate goal as launching something that 50 years down the road is going to become part of the key play. It's going to start small, but we wouldn't be feeling bullish about launching it if we didn't think that after the 10 years of testing here in North America, we had learned enough about it. So we've been able to take well over 95% of the cost of the original hydrogen prototypes that we were running around the streets over here out as a result of the learning experiences. We've been able to feed back a ton of great learning experiences back to the corporate center where the engineering is being done, and be able to put a North American flavor. So you wouldn't have done the testing in Yellowknife, to do a really cold weather testing, while in the same week do the testing in Las Vegas in hot weather testing, because again, we wanted to convince customers that this product has gone through so much testing that it's ready. And then the second thing also has to occur. You have to be able to scale cost out. So I think over the years, by learning more from the Prius experience and all that, we've been able to find the right core elements of the Prius hardware, transition that to the fuel cell, build some new tanks, and be able to take a whole bunch of cost out so that there's some level of confidence now that we can bring this product to market that over time will be ready for the masses.
So one other technology that people think of as very, very far away, some people say is near term, and I think Toyota's been a little bit more bearish about, is connected or rather autonomous vehicles. So you've got people like Google saying this is a 2018 product launch, and again, that sounds pretty aggressive for anybody in the car industry. What's your take on that, and when do you think realistically that there will be conventional vehicles that have some degree of autonomy or full autonomy?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. I think if you think about all the elements that go into calling a vehicle autonomous, they're all either available today and or will be available by the end of the decade. So I think when you package it all together in an affordable manner, can you create some level of scale in the marketplace? That's the question to be answered. And at the same time, is there enough infrastructure out there for all those vehicles who we want to run in a more automated manner to be able to run, so that the rest of the street is also playing the same game as you are? So I'm sure, I have no doubt that somebody can probably put a product out tomorrow or within a few years and call it autonomous at the same time, and that's okay. That there's nothing wrong in displaying that technology. I think from our standpoint, what our view is, let's get to a point in time where we are working with governments and local communities and other technology partners, and of course ourselves, to be able to scale up at a more rapid manner. And so the company is always a little bit more deliberate about it. And the other element is, putting insurance issues aside, we also still fully believe that you should not, as a consumer who goes out and buys an emotive product like an automotive product, just be able to sit back and not be engaged in the drive experience. So we still feel it's more automated, more of a co-piloted technology today. But I definitely think that, like any other company, we are engaged fully in getting those technologies to market, because whether you call them autonomous or not, they're required for one of our other pillars, which is improve our safety and driver distraction, whether it's gesture-based technologies all the way through to something simple as lane avoidance.
So I thank you very, very much for your time, and this has been a great interview. I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you.
And we'll keep in touch.
Look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.